All right, everyone, can you guys hear me clearly?
I can hear you well.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm gonna give 1 more minute and then we can get started. I'm so happy to have you guys. I'm grateful that you guys are here and trying to take action and learning more on how you can create health for you and your family. So definitely it's a beautiful day. I'm grateful for I have my family, my health, and grateful for all of you guys. Welcome. All right, everyone. Again, welcome. It is 7:03 and we are going to get started. So I know you guys are all here and eager to learn on how you can get healthier and reduce inflammation. I know some weight loss, heal yourself, so let's get started. So did you know that losing weight and balancing your hormones doesn't have to be complicated, overwhelming, or expensive? And it is possible to get rapid, safe, and permanent results. I know it sounds crazy because you've heard it takes forever, costs lots of money, and you must take tons of supplements in order to achieve your results. Ultimately, your results are super important, and that's exactly why I'm going to show you how to get even better results in less time while improving your health like never before. So who am I? I am a mom to two adorable, action-packed boys, Aaron, who is 10, and Naksh, who is 6, a wife to Dr. Rupal Amin. He is a physicist, and he is working for Louisiana State University. And I am a chiropractor. And my wellness journey, my why is basically, it got started with my mom's health being deteriorating a few years ago. And she went from somebody who was super active, super outgoing, and just always happy, doing gardening and all kinds of wonderful things, to somebody who was scared, had lost trust in everybody, especially the doctors, and just depressed. She sat in one corner of the sofa back home in Houston, and to see my mom, who's my best friend, to go through that was very devastating. Especially one day when I got a call from my dad. This was in the earlier stages, because it took about a year and a half or so for the doctors to really figure out what was going on with her. And it was kind of, a lot of damage was already done. So when I get a call from my dad telling me, hey, Benny, which is my nickname for my parents and my family, I think your mom's gonna need a lung transplant. And to hear those words were very heartbreaking, and I had no words to tell my dad. I didn't know. And I said, I'll call you back later. And I cried my heart out. I was at my son's swimming lessons, waiting on him. And I felt so helpless that day. As a physician, I said, I should have some way of helping my mom, and I had no answer. So I called several of my colleagues, and that's how I found out about the functional wellness industry and path. And I said, okay, that's what I got to do. And so I enrolled in Functional Medicine University, started my studies. And even though it took us a while to get my mom on board, because like I mentioned, she was not trusting anybody at this point, because she went from specialist to specialist, biopsies, lab works, poking her, all kinds of stuff, and she was miserable. But I was thankful that she said yes, and she started to follow things that, as I would learn, I would ask her to implement. And I'm so happy to say that she did not need any lung transplant. She recovered quite well. Yes, the scarring is still there in her lungs, but we are managing that really well with, of course, lifestyle and certain food habits, and natural way of dealing with that. So that was my first initial why. And my second why, of course, is myself. With my hypothyroidism, my Hashimoto's journey, weight gain, frustration, anxiety, fatigue, severe fatigue, and to feel again as a failure, like a failure, as a mother, as a wife, even as a physician, because I was trying to help other women, other people get healthier, and I wasn't healthy myself. I was putting a little face of being happy and pushing myself to do whatever I needed to do, but I had to get real. And it was my younger one who brought that up to me and made me realize, yeah, I couldn't fake it anymore. So that was actually my all-time low. The day that, again, I cried my heart out and I decided that this was going to be my mission. I had to do something about my health, but once I find that way that works, I had to make sure that other women know about it. And here I am today, happy. I feel wonderful. I feel so much better than I was in my 20s. I'm feeling fit, so confident, and I just want to help. I just want to help. So here I am. That is my big why. So um, that's one of the reasons it's very important to create value and create a much better future for everyone, because that's basically what I got, right? And which is why in the next few minutes, I want to show you a groundbreaking approach that I've spent the last almost 3 years, 2.5, 3 years developing. So pay really close attention, because this could change everything for you. I'm going to share the 3 secrets to losing weight for your body type that will help you achieve sustainable health practices, rapid, measurable changes, and lasting results. Some of you might say, I've tried everything. Being healthy is hard. I've already spent so much time and money and nothing works. Getting healthy takes years, or I don't want to take more supplements. I've spent thousands on testing, or one more program and my spouse is going to kill me. But I promise you that you haven't done this. I don't want to starve myself. I don't want to take drugs or hormone replacement meds. You shouldn't have to do this in order for you to feel better and for you to feel balanced again. Some of you might be also thinking, my body has been like this for years, it won't budge. This could be a problem, because then you'll end up giving up, or you might think being healthy is expensive. So for the next hour or so, I want you to let go of all your limiting beliefs and hear me out, because I feel like what I'm about to share with you is going to open up a lot of doors of opportunities for you to feel your absolute best. And I know that if you're having any health issues, then today is going to be an eye-opening presentation that's going to help you find the path that you've been looking for. If you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, if you're ready to put an end to your struggles and suffering, then I've got 3 secrets to share with you. Secret number 1, you must know your body type. So I would love for you to type in which body type do you most likely relate with. Is it A, where most of your weight gain is in the midsection? B, where the weight gain is in the hips and thighs? Or C, where weight gain is evenly distributed? Or D, where you have a hard belly and it's not squishy like, body type A, but almost feels like an exercise ball? We usually refer to this as a beer belly. Now, you can be a combination of any of these as well. Knowing your body type can give us major clues about what's going on with your hormones. Now, some of you might be thinking, I'm not any of this body type, and that's okay too. This means that you may be at the beginning stage of your disease, and only see the symptoms and not present with any of these physical changes shown in the images, because these are actually the late stages. This makes it even more important to get a little more understanding of what's going on with your body. So let's demonstrate this with a case study. Meet Shayna. So Shayna is a business owner, very motivated and dedicated to achieving what she wants. She always posted pictures of her doing her morning runs every day. But even after about a month or so, her pictures didn't look any different. She was putting in all the work, but not seeing any changes in her body. Now, how many of you can relate to this? I'm gonna quickly check the chat. Yeah, a lot of people have combinations, C, A, B, yeah, yep. Thank you guys for sharing this. Yeah, so you're eating healthy and exercising, but still not seeing any changes, or the scale is not moving. Has this ever happened to you? Does it make you wonder that why your body composition is not changing and why you're not feeling more energy when you're doing everything you can possibly do as advised by so many experts in the industry, which is eat less and exercise more? So after seeing this week after week, she finally decided to use the framework I use in my program. She was also very willing to listen to all the input that would make her healthier. So let's analyze this picture. A couple of things you will notice here. She's wearing sunglasses. Sunglasses are disruptive to many of our hormones because they trick our body into thinking that it's darker outside than it really is. Our body uses the information coming from the sun to signal the appropriate production of hormones. The other thing noticed in this picture is that she was probably overtraining. She was working out too much and not recovering enough. And as a result of that, she was creating further hormonal imbalances, which were moving her further away from her goals. So if you look at the body type pictures, she is a body type A. And to tell you a little bit about her objectives, she's 52 years old with 2 kids, struggling with fibroids, perimenopausal issues, hot flashes, difficulty losing weight despite exercising. Her energy and motivation was low, and she was always bloated. So one of the first advice given to her, because she was coachable and teachable, was to stop running. She was blown away by that because it was probably the opposite of what she thought she was going to be told, but that's exactly what she ended up doing. So it is important to correctly identify what your body type is so that we know what systems in your body are out of balance and causing your symptom, because knowing that helps you understand your body better so that you feel confident about rebalancing your health and your wellness. I mean, how cool would it be? Just like when you go to the mechanic and the mechanic plugs your car into a diagnostic tool, and within minutes, they know exactly what's going on because the car is giving off codes in order to tell you what systems are failing or what sensors need to be replaced. So keep in mind that we also have an amazing diagnostic tool, and it's called symptoms. But sometimes our symptoms can seem to be unrelated. Sometimes we might not associate our cravings with hormone imbalances. We might not associate muscle cramping with specific imbalances. We may not associate how we carry our weight with specific imbalances. We might not associate craving salt or fat or chocolate with some of our imbalances. So by knowing what symptoms you have, it's like the check engine light or check system light in your body going off that tells us exactly what we need to focus on. And if we can identify enough symptoms in a specific system in our body, then we know that that's where our attention and focus needs to be. So based on Shayna's body type, she was working way harder than she needed to. Just a question. I don't know if anybody who likes to work harder than they need to. Now, I'm not afraid of doing hard work, but what I'm afraid of is wasting my time. And I don't like when other people waste their time, because time is our only non-renewable resource, and it's our most valuable resource as well. So if you like to save time and if you like your efforts to go further and you want to work smarter, type in the word time for me so that I know we're on the same page. Yeah. Thank you. Love it. So honestly, I'd rather spend my time being productive and doing things I love with people I love, right? So I'm assuming it's the same opinion with you guys. So here are the results. So you look at the Shayna or her before and after picture. So this is somebody who was literally running every morning, not seeing any results. And in 6 weeks, she lost 19 pounds without exercising. Now that seems so out of norm. And I'm not saying that she stopped moving, and she was definitely not sedentary, but she wasn't exercising like she was before, where she was really putting her body under a tremendous amount of stress, which was a problem because her body was already imbalanced and had excessive stress hormones, which were decoded from her physical presentation, as well as, just talking with her. So imagine that effortlessly these pounds started coming off. She started feeling amazing. Her energy improved. The bloating that she was complaining about completely disappeared. Her hot flashes disappeared. Her confidence level went off the chart. And she was able to instill better eating habits that she was looking for. And the best part, she did this all without taking supplements, without drinking chalky shakes. She did it by eating real food, which is the only way to get healthy. So that's exactly what she learned to do. And based on her hormonal tendencies and based on what her goals were, she got a prescription that was in line with that outcome. So take a look at her transformation at week 6. Dropping 19 pounds was great, but it was more than the weight as so many of her other symptoms that had improved significantly. Typically, if you wanted to improve all these things, you would have to see 4 or 5 different specialists, right? You would have to see a GI specialist for your bloating. You would have to see hormone specialist for your hot flashes. You might have to see a nutritionist to help you with getting your diet and everything put together. So now imagine that all of that was consolidated, all those different efforts, everything that you needed to do into one congruency effort for her that produced an amazing result. And you can see the before and after. At 6 weeks, she went from 151 or 151 to 132, which is awesome. But the biggest thing was that she thought at 52 years old, she had to accept how she looked and that everyone told her that it was an age thing. All because she was coachable, teachable, and willing to listen and willing to receive the help. She was willing to do things differently if it would make her life easier and to get her dream body at 52. So secret number 1, you must know your body type. This is important because without knowing your body type, you'll be wasting time, money, and effort, and you'll eventually give up. Secret number 2, you must lower your insulin. Insulin is one of the most important hormones for you to regulate. In fact, one of the things happening right now is doctors are giving their patients, for longevity purposes, medications that lower insulin levels in blood sugar levels so that people can live longer. The longer you want to live, the lower your insulin must be. So it's important that we understand what insulin does, because most of you have heard of the hormone and you probably think of diabetes, but insulin is something that we all release every single day in varying amounts. It's when we can't produce insulin or when we produce too much that we run into a problem. So many of you who are having trouble with weight loss or weight gain, especially around the midsection, you're going to want to pay attention to this because insulin is likely playing a role in your health issues. Okay, so take a look at this infographic. It shows the effects of insulin when it's elevated. It increases aches and pains, increases weight gain, especially in the midsection, increases blood pressure. So if insulin is high, I expect you to have high cholesterol. have mood changes, increase your likelihood of getting cancer, and accelerating the aging process because insulin increases the speed of cell division. And cancer is also excessive and rapid cell division. Insulin also causes other hormonal imbalances in your body, like with your thyroid hormone, and insulin also lowers your libido. Now, some of the hormonal imbalances that insulin causes are relevant because it changes the shape of our body. In men, excess insulin turns their testosterone into estrogen. So one of the things that we'll see in men is that they will start growing breast tissue and they will have wider hips and thighs and have a more hourglass appearance to their body shape as a result of this excess insulin. In women, when we have excess insulin, it turns their estrogen into testosterone, and that will cause PCOS related symptoms. So we don't want excess testosterone in women, and we don't want excess estrogen in men. We don't want excess of any hormones or deficiencies of any hormones. They all must be properly balanced. So insulin is one of the most important hormones in your body, and it's one of the most important hormones that you want to make the least amount of. You want to make some because if you don't make any, then you would have type 1 diabetes or late stage type 2 diabetes. You want to make the right amount in response to what you're eating, and the levels must be as little as possible. Anytime your insulin goes up, all of these issues are going to get worse, which means more aches and pains, more weight gain, more blood pressure issues, more cholesterol issues, more mood changes or cancer and aging, more hormonal imbalances, and lower libido. I don't think any of you want this, but some of you might be able to relate to some or all of these symptoms. And guess what? The problem isn't the weight gain or blood pressure or high cholesterol. It's the insulin. Yes, there's medications for high blood pressure, for mood, for low libido, and there's anti-inflammatory meds that you can take for aches and pains, or you can try to work your way through insulin resistance and reverse it because it's causing your weight gain. But what you really want to do is you want to lower the production of insulin instead of treating the symptoms that resulted from elevated insulin levels. This is critical because if you can get this hormone balanced, then all your other hormones become balanced. And there's several ways to do that. And it isn't just through diet. But that's the other mistake people make. And that is why this is such an important secret. You must know that insulin isn't solely related to nutrition. It's one of the components. Chronic stress can create insulin-related issues. Chronic inflammation can create insulin-related issues as well, as sleep issues can also lead to insulin resistance, as well as sedentary lifestyle. So in fact, incorrect breathing can also increase insulin resistance. So a variety of different things could cause insulin to go out of balance. Now, why is it important to look at the symptoms that are associated to insulin resistance, especially right now? Well, I'm going to pause for a little bit. I'm going to make sure that everybody's muted. It's important, especially right now, because when you see that high blood pressure, weight gain, diabetes are all related to insulin resistance, and these are also the top causes of current hospitalizations related to COVID, it becomes super important. So I don't think anyone here, whether you're vaccinated or not, wants to end up in the hospital. But it's become very clear that your likelihood of ending up in the hospital is so much higher if you have hypertension, high cholesterol, weight gain, especially in the midsection, which is the most toxic place to carry it, heart disease, mood disorders, and all of these other things that you see related to diabetes. You see, these are modifiable risk factors. So instead of treating the symptom, which could be hypertension in this case, or high blood pressure, let's get to the root cause. Let's lower insulin by modifying our environment, by modifying our nutrition, by modifying our mindset, by modifying how we move and how we function throughout the day. And watch how the likelihood of developing any of these problems almost immediately disappear. The results that I see are nothing short of phenomenal, and we have literally hundreds of case studies showing how powerful this is. All right, meet Mark. Now, his anxiety was valid because of all the risk factors and comorbidity associated with it. So if you look at his objectives, he's a doctor. He knows what he needs to do, but he needed somebody to coach him. Coaching is so important when you're working towards a goal and so that you can avoid mistakes. Think about the best athletes or the top business owners. They all have coaches because their athletics are important to them or their business is important to them. And that's where health coaching comes in. Your health is important for you, and having somebody coach you can be one of the most valuable tools. And that's what he recognized. And that is that, it wasn't a knowledge issue, and sometimes it can be, but for him, it was more of an accountability issue. And that's what he needed the most. So take a look at his results. Here's what happened when he went back to his doctor to get blood work done. Blood work came back off the charts, and his doctor was just stunned and curious, wondering, what did you do? His doctor, who he had been seeing year after year, who watched him move in this direction and was managing his symptoms with the hypertension medication and blood sugar medications, but not really necessarily getting to the root cause. This is exactly what I help people with. Okay, so in short period of time, the weight literally melted off his body. And some of you might be wondering, is that safe? Well, of course, it's safe because it was done by improving health, by improving his environment, by improving his mindset, by reducing the chronic inflammation in his body, by teaching him to eat a diet that's balanced, that balances his insulin levels. And if you remember, when you balance insulin, all those other things start to disappear. But if you restrict calories without balancing insulin, none of that happens. So by putting him on a realistic, sustainable, practical plan, his body just absolutely loved it. Sometimes people think that getting healthy is like rolling a boulder up a hill, but in fact, it's the opposite that's true. It's getting healthy when you're using your body as a tool, your environment as a tool. It should feel like rolling a boulder down a hill. Your body doesn't want you to be overweight. Your body doesn't want you to be inflamed. It doesn't want you to feel tired. It doesn't want you to wake up 50 times at night. Your body doesn't want you to feel bloated and have bad digestion. It doesn't want any of those things. However, it's only going to respond to the environment and the messages that you send to it. And when we change the messaging, body says, thank you. What have you been waiting for? Let's go. So that's the beauty of this process, is we don't fight weight loss. We don't fight anything in your body. We partner with your body. And by understanding exactly what it needs and giving it what it needs, we're able to produce meaningful, powerful, quick, painless results. Again, he did this without exercising. And I have to stress that because some of you might think, oh my goodness, how much running do I have to do? Or how much weightlifting do I have to do? Or do I have to hire a personal trainer? Well, he did this without intense exercise. Yes, he was walking. He was doing some mobility training. He was doing some gentle yoga and stretching, but he did not do any intense exercise because that was actually something that was contributing to his insulin resistance. So remember, secret number 2 is you have got to lower insulin resistance or insulin and lower the amount of insulin you're making so that you can reverse chronic health issues and you can see what insulin is related to. Give you a few moments just to look at the infographic one more time. All right, so now why is this important? Because without lowering insulin, you'll be wasting time, money, and effort, and you'll eventually give up. Thankfully, the first 2 case studies didn't give up, and they were receptive and open to feedback, and they were coachable and willing to learn. Through their process, they learn lifelong skills that they will be able to apply not just temporarily, but for the rest of their life, because our course isn't simply just based on changing what you eat. It's based on improving and optimizing how you interact with your food, with your environment, with your own genomics, and all of the things that are responsible for making you feel healthy and happy. So secret number 3. This is it's gonna sound truly opposite of what you normally hear. And it sounds that way because it's sleep more and exercise less. It sounds that way because you're probably thinking sleep more and exercise less. I've been told otherwise. I've been waking up super early in the morning, busting my butt, going to the gym or trying to catch my session or my class or whatever the case may be. And I've been skipping that hour of sleep in the morning that I wish I could have had. And I'm dragging myself out of the bed to exercise. Or maybe you're staying up a little extra late trying to unwind from the day. And as a result of that, you're not getting adequate amount of sleep, or you're not being hyper vigilant with your sleep. So yes, it sounds different, but I promise you this is the one reason why it works. The average person used to sleep about 10 hours a night. And now the average person, after the light bulb was invented, sleeps less than 8 hours a night, and sometimes even less than 7 hours a night on average. The problem with that is that those 3 hours less that we're sleeping are not filled with meditation or yoga or laughter or campfires. It's usually filled with stressful activities, which are then further disrupting our sleep. So here's the problem. We're not sleeping as much as we used to, and we're trying to compensate by exercising more, which worsens the problem. And so what I want you to pay attention to here is the importance of your circadian rhythm, which basically means that the hormonal values change at different times of the day, and almost all of our hormones have a circadian rhythm. And if we're going to balance our hormones, then we don't want the levels of our hormones to be the same all day. For example, you don't want your cortisol levels to be the same all day. You want them to be high in the morning, and then it should basically lower down to as little as possible in the evening. This makes sense because we're not going to be in a fight or flight situation in the evening, and we don't need to be. Cortisol's main job in our body is to raise blood sugar. So it makes sense that our blood sugar is elevated in the morning because we haven't eaten anything for the last 10 to 12 hours, or even sometimes 15 hours. So it's important that when we wake up in the morning to start our day, that our cortisol is high, which then raises our blood sugar. And that gets us through the first half of our day. And then around noon, we'll see that it sharply starts to decline. And in the evening, after the sun goes down, we want to see the cortisol be at its lowest levels possible. When cortisol becomes low, then one of the most important hormones in our body, melatonin, one of the other most important hormones, I should say, melatonin becomes elevated. Melatonin is one of our most important, if not most important, immune regulating hormone. Without proper production of melatonin, we will not create a healthy immune system to fight off anything that's out there in the world, whether it's right now, a year from now, or 10 years from now. So one of the most powerful things that we can do is increase melatonin production because it controls our immune system. You actually make melatonin. We actually make melatonin. So the way it works is you make melatonin based on the sunlight exposure, especially the midday sunlight. And you also make melatonin when you decrease your exposure to artificial lighting. So sometimes it's doing simple things that make a big difference. And because they're simple, a lot of time people ignore it. Things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. So by changing your exposure to natural lighting and reducing your exposure to artificial lighting, you will modulate the hormones in your body. Ta-da! Now, getting the sun early in the morning, if you can, is very beneficial. Even if you like to check your email or have coffee in the morning, have it outside. Even on a cloudy day, it's going to help you naturally raise your cortisol, and it's going to help curb your sugar cravings. By simply getting more sunlight, raising your cortisol naturally, your body's not going to crave sugar. If you don't get enough sunlight in the morning, then you're not going to make enough cortisol. And then your body is going to crave sugar because cortisol's main job is to raise blood sugar. Next, we want to reduce our exposure to overhead artificial lighting as much as we can. Because the only time in the day that the lighting comes from overhead sources is in the middle of the day. So if you're around overhead lighting in the evening time, your brain will think it's midday, and now you're going to have disrupted sleep. Here's what I suggest to eliminate that problem. Use red bulbs in your home and then have lamps with shades over them. And these bulbs will create a beautiful red environment, which will lower your cortisol production and naturally raise your body's production of melatonin. We've all heard that it's good to stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. Well, it's also a good idea to change your lighting environment 2 to 3 hours before bed so that you can optimize your body's production, so that we can optimize the production of these natural hormones. If you have to use your computer or devices, then there's ways that we can modify how to use those devices, such as special glasses that you can wear or special screen protectors that you can use, or software that you can install, like the one I use, it's by eFlux, and I have it on all my, like my laptops, my iPads and everything, and it just takes the blue light away. So there's definitely things that you can do to help make the changes so that you don't end up having disrupted sleep. So why is this important? Well, getting enough sleep lowers our production of ghrelin. And when we make less ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone, which is another hormone that we make, that normalizes our appetite. So when we get enough sleep, we also raise something called leptin. Leptin is a hormone that helps us feel satisfied after we eat something. So if you're the type of a person that feels hungry all the time and never feels satisfied, this could be a hormonal disruption that's caused by not getting enough sleep. So if you're not getting enough sleep, then guess what you're going to crave? The wrong foods. You're going to feel hungry, and even if you eat those wrong foods because you're not making the right hormones, you're going to feel unsatisfied and hungry. Now, I've been there and done that. Anyone here ever experienced that? That no matter what you eat, you just don't feel full, or you just feel hungry all the time, even if you're eating what seems to be the foods that you crave. Well, chances are it could be related to sleep. So I'm curious, for those of you that are still tuned in, how many hours a night you sleep? Go ahead and type it in the chat box and I'll quickly take a look at it. I'm curious, I'd love to see that. Ooh, yes, eight. It's about 5, 6, 7 hours. Yeah, thank you guys. So sometimes sleeping too much is not a good thing, and it's never a good thing to sleep too little. But there's definitely ways that we can measure and quantify how well you're sleeping. So let's get into another case study. Meet Sean. Sean's got 2 beautiful daughters and is a loving, caring father and just very admirable, happy-go-lucky kind of guy. And here's his case. He is 50 years old, male, of course. He needed to lose about 100 pounds. He had lots of inflammation in his body. He's taking about 8 to 10 Tylenol every single day. And he has tried Beachbody diet, keto. He has tried a bunch of different things that he thought would help, and they just didn't seem to produce meaningful results for him because these were both diets. What I try to do with my patients is I try to teach them a way of life. I try to teach them not just how to eat, but I teach them how to live. And that's a big difference. How to eat is one of many components of how to live in order for you to create health. Now, he also had high cholesterol, low energy, and poor sleep. So if you can tell from his physique, he was more of a liver body type. We can see he's got most of his weight gain in the midsection, and you can see that his legs and arms look pretty normal. So body type D is the liver type body. Can you imagine what taking 8 to 10 Tylenol every day is going to do with his liver? It's going to destroy your liver, or his liver in this case. One of the things that Tylenol does is it depletes glutathione, which is one of your most important antioxidants, and it's referred to as a master antioxidant in your body. If you have poor oxidative stress, you're going to have lower energy, going to have lots of inflammation. So without knowing this information, he was stuck in this cycle. And if all he wanted to do was lose weight without fixing some of these other issues, he would have been in trouble. So wouldn't it be nice to get corrective results by using your environment, using your body, using your lighting environment, using your breathing, using your food, your things that are around in your periphery to help you get results? I think this would be awesome. What I have is getting even better results at much lower cost, but I'm also creating more sustainable results that benefit not just the person who is taking the course, but their entire family. Because if I teach you skills, you teach them to others. If I improve and upgrade your environment, it improves and upgrades the environment for everyone in your household. However, if I just give you a pill to take, then that bottle runs out after 30 days. And if it even benefits you, it only benefits you. So I've taken a completely groundbreaking approach, which is unlike anything that you've seen before. Okay, so what Sean really needed to focus on was rest and recovery. One of the interesting things about rest and recovery is that when we're at rest, about 50% of our blood flow goes to our liver and kidneys. Let me say that again. At rest, 50% of our blood flow goes to our liver and kidneys. Now, when we're under stress, only 5% of our blood flow goes to our liver and kidneys. So if I wanted to heal his liver, where do I have to send the blood? I have to send it to the liver. And if I can increase the blood flow to the liver by 10-folds, by increasing the state of him being in a calm and stable state, then isn't that something that makes a lot of sense to you? There's so many people taking detoxification programs or doing protocols for detoxification while staying in a fight or flight state. This means that you're in a chronically stressed out state. And as a result of that, they don't see the results that they deserve, results that they want and are capable of because their body's in the wrong gear. It's kind of like putting your car in reverse and expecting it to go forward. That's never going to happen. No matter how hard you put your foot on the gas, it's never going to happen. So it's important that we recognize the significance of rest and recovery because most of us are overly stressed. Very few people are overly rested. Most of us are under rested and under recovered because of the stress that we are all under these days. In fact, it's said that our generation has 10 times more stress than our parents did. And stress doesn't just come in the form of finances. It doesn't come in the form of relationships. We have stress from toxicity. We have stress from poor lighting. We have stress from demands at work. And we have stress from watching the news, and from all the mandates and restrictions. So we have more stress in just the last couple of years than we've ever had. And our body is not in a position to handle that amount of chronic, persistent stress. Our body's great at handling short period of stress, but not the long-term, the chronic stress. Robin Sharma, he's one of my mentors, and I love listening to him. He often says, what gets measured gets improved. So if we want people to rest and recover and sleep better, one of the tools that we recommend in our course is a sleep tracking ring. It's called an Aura ring. Now, patients can use, or participants can use any means of tracking device, like their Fitbit, Apple Watch, chronometer, anything. But we love the accuracy of the data that comes from the Aura ring. And if you're interested in finding out more about the Aura ring, just shoot us a message. I'll be more than happy to tell you more about it. So as I mentioned above, these sleep tracking devices help us figure out the amount of REM sleep we're getting. REM sleep is when your brain forms networks and patterns. That's when we dream. So for someone who doesn't get enough REM sleep, one thing that I can do is I can make specific recommendations to help them improve their REM sleep. And I wouldn't have known this if it weren't for these devices. Did you know that we spend a third of our life in bed? So wouldn't it be important to know if what you're doing for the third of your life is actually working for you and not against you? I think it should be. I think it would make a massive difference if we could all wake up each morning knowing how well we slept, and the day after that, week after that, and make subtle micro adjustments and do things to measure what impacts our sleep in a positive or negative way. So here's Sean's results in 10 weeks. He lost 58 pounds. He was down a total of 18.5 inches. You can see that his stomach just almost completely disappeared. He stopped taking Tylenol completely as well. So this is somebody who would take 8 to 10 Tylenols a day. So he's taking about 300 Tylenol per month. Think about that in a period of 10 weeks. It's about 750 Tylenol, guys. And that, for him to stop that because he no longer suffered with pain, was incredible. That's pretty amazing. And you can see that his liver started healing because his belly and everything started to flatten out. He enjoyed all of his meals. He really developed a love for food. He's sleeping so much better. And of course, his energy has improved as well. These are, I would say, typical results I see over and over again with my clients because they took action. So secret number 3 is sleep more and exercise less. Excuse me, I'm just gonna unmute it or mute everybody. Now, why is this important? Without proper sleep and too much exercise, you'll be wasting time, money, and effort, and you'll eventually give up. Now, I know what you're trying or what you're thinking after seeing all these amazing studies. I've tried everything. I don't have the time like these people. How do I know if this will work for me? But the reality is, you don't have a system. It's not that you don't have time. 24 hours will pass between today and tomorrow, and we all have the same time. The question is, what are we doing with that time? And how do we create and put a system into our life that will promote our health? So here's what I believe in. I believe in something called the compound effect. I believe in getting you to do things that you're already doing, but how about we do them 10% better? Imagine if you could do 10 things each day, 10% better. How many of you think you would see exceptional results over a period of time if you could do 10 things 10% better? You're already thinking. Let's think more positive. You're already breathing. Let's breathe correctly. You're already pooping. Let's poop in the correct anatomical position. You're already exposed to lighting. Let's change the lighting that you're exposed to. The sun shines every single day. Let's get outside and enjoy it so that we can strategically adjust and modulate our hormones. You're already going to sleep. What if you slept and had data that would monitor your progress to share with you how well you slept so you know exactly what you need to do? Do you think that that would be helpful for you? Do you think that doing so will give you better clinical outcomes? I believe so. So it's about a way of life that's forgiving, but is also a way of life that produces and creates health. A formula to create health from the inside out and from the outside in, and to use our environment as one of our tools. Now that you have the 3 secrets, you may be wondering, how can I get the same results? And how can we work together? If so, would you like me to help you improve your thyroid health, metabolism, and your overall health inside and out? If you do, you have 2 options right now. Option number 1, try this on your own and spend thousands of dollars on programs and diets that may or may not work, lab testing, supplements, medication, etc. Continue to gain weight and have hormonal issues. Continue to feel frustrated, stressed, and continue to waste time figuring this out on your own. Or option number 2, learn the proven system from someone who has helped hundreds of people. Change your life, your relationships, your confidence, and your health and happiness. So here's what I have for you. Excel Your Health, Metabolism, and Lifestyle course or program. It's a comprehensive course that will help you lose 20+ pounds, increase energy, sleep deeper and balance your hormones, and much, much more. So what is Excel Your Health, Metabolism, and Lifestyle course? It's an affordable virtual 6-week transformational program with additional six weeks of guidance for maintaining your results later on. It produces safe, rapid, and permanent results. It addresses and corrects the underlying causes of chronic disease, such as hormonal imbalances, thyroid conditions, PCOS, insulin resistance, and metabolic conditions. Included in this course is a kickoff phone call with me, so I can explain you exactly what needs to happen. We can have a nice little chat. Course manual, which is your blueprint to keeping your health in check for life. 12 daily habits tracker worksheets so that we can help you create a perfect environment for your body to heal. Once a week, Zoom call for questions and answer. weekly educational video on specific focus topics, recipe book, sample meal plan, 6 weeks of additional course material for transitioning into the maintaining phase of so that you can maintain your results. Additional Zoom call during week 6 with with me for the Q&A and to get you ready for the next 6 weeks into the maintenance phase so we can make sure that everything that you've improved, you've corrected, that you can maintain it for life. Email access to me and my team during those additional 6 weeks of transition and maintenance phase. Tons of support, accountability, and interaction. Lots and lots of bonus material that is very useful. An amazing community of like-minded people and lifetime of optimal health for you and your family. Who is this program for? For those of you who have tried everything to release the weight, but have had little to no results. Those who want to learn a healthy and sustainable way to release weight and keep it off. Those who have lower energy, poor sleep, imbalanced hormones, digestive issues, pain, arthritis, inflammation, high blood pressure, and diabetes. Those who are willing to invest in themselves. Those who feel they are worthy of having the health and body that they have dreamed of. This program is not for you if you're not open-minded to a new way of doing things. You're not committed to a healthier future. You're not looking, or you're looking for a quick fix. You are uncoachable if you don't take responsibility for success. If you're not ready to make your health a priority. So here are a few of the little testimonies that we've gathered, just a few of them out of so many more, and that makes me so happy and excited. These are the participants from our current course, online course, and this is just from week 2 of them getting into the program or the course. And I just love every day waking up and seeing more and more of these. So I'll give a couple of minutes so you guys can read over this, and then we'll switch to the next slides. Sorry. All right. Let me ask you this. How much do people, or of people that normally spend monthly on products or shakes and things like that to get healthy and lose weight, only to gain it all back once they stop using the products? Think about that. A few more seconds. I would love for you to put that in the chat so I can get an idea of answers. Yeah. Yeah, way too much. Yeah, absolutely. And you have to keep paying months after months until you want the results. And as soon as you stop, it's like you get more and gain all that, like Jamie says, gain it back and more. Yes, absolutely. So what if you could have a solution where you pay one time and it lasts for the lifetime? You have a blueprint in your hand that assures you that you won't need any other plan ever again. Because again, life happens. We're not always going to be 100% perfect. And for those moments where we did get off track and made wrong choices, it's okay. Life happens, like I said. But what if you had that blueprint to say, oh, I just need to go back and do a few weeks of this and get back on track and get my weight off. And to know that even if you might gain a few pounds in here and there, it won't be everything back plus more. It'll be a healthy weight that you get back. And every round that you do of this course, and after the first one, you won't need me, obviously. You'll be confident enough to do this on your own. But each time you do this, you're setting a new metabolic set point for your weight. So even if you do gain, because like I mentioned, life happens, you'll gain a few pounds that are not even going to matter, because as far as inches go, it's not going to change much. As far as how you feel, it's not going to change much. So with that said, yes, I'm sure a lot of you are saying when we start or how do you sign up? So here is your investment. And I say investment because this is an investment. It's not a cost. It's an investment into your life and your family's life. Your investment is $9.97. And if you use the code MASTERCLASS, the first 5 people will get $50 off on that price. And you can use that QR code to scan the QR code to sign up for that program. The next one starts September 12th. And I do that because it gives me plenty of time to reach out to every single one of you and have a chat with you, because I like that interaction. I love talking to everybody and really answer your questions more in depth and explain the program more in depth. And so you're ready for day one. You're excited. So yes, let me go through. I see some of the questions coming up, but let's see. I'm gonna go to the next slide, just answer the frequently asked questions, and I'll get back to your questions, I promise. You're all gonna have a chance to ask questions. Sometimes people ask me, but this isn't the right time. You know, we can always use time as an excuse. On this program, you'll actually save time because you're going to have so much more energy, and we're going to be sharing with you a very systematic process to implement. So you're not gonna waste time. And it's simple. Simplicity is the key. What if I can't come to your office, especially if things change? This is for my local patients, and of course, out-of-town patients. There's Zoom, it's all online. But there's tons of interaction in this fun. We work with clients virtually, so if you have access to the internet or a phone, we can work with you. Can vegetarians and vegans do this program? Yes, absolutely. I'm a vegetarian and I did it as a vegetarian, so it's absolutely possible. I am afraid to fail. Yes. We have so many clients who don't want to mention anything to friends or family about starting another program because they are afraid to fail. And I want you to know that we have 100% success rate with our clients if they're 100% compliant with the program. All right, let's get into the Q&A, fun part. And I'm gonna have a couple of more testimonies while we do the Q&A for you to read on. So I'm gonna quickly open up the chat box, and I'm not gonna unmute all of you, but take turns and just, it always works out. Just unmute yourself when you have a question, and then we'll go from there.